All right, welcome back, everybody, to Deep Dive. We've got a really interesting one for you today.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is all about, well, you've been hearing about it, right? Package deliveries. All the changes that are happening, especially if you use a P.O. box. You've probably been noticing this.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what we're diving into today. What's going on, why it matters to you, and what your options are. Because it is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all starting with, well, you know, at the new year, the contract between UPS and USPS, that ended for those SurePost deliveries.
Yeah.
Which, that's a huge shift, right?
It is. It is a big shift in the delivery landscape, for sure.
So before we dive into like why it ended or what happened, can you just sort of remind us what was that partnership? What was actually happening there?
Yeah, so basically the USPS, the Postal Service, was handling what they call the last mile delivery for a lot of UPS packages.
The last mile.
Yeah, which sounds kind of boring, but actually
Yeah, it does sound kind of boring.
It's the most important and the most expensive and complex part of the whole delivery journey.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Yeah, because think about it. I mean, it's like the finale of a fireworks show. It's got to be precise, right?
Yeah.
You've got to get that package from like a regional hub to your specific house or business or P.O. box, you know?
Right.
And it's not easy. And for a lot of those deliveries, especially of places that only the USPS can get to, the Postal Service was the one actually getting those packages to people's doorsteps.
Oh, okay. So that's what's interesting. So this last mile thing, it's not just about, like you said, driving it to my house. It's also like, this is the only way to actually get to certain places.
Exactly.
And it's the only way for certain types of deliveries to actually happen, right?
Yeah, because the USPS is the only carrier that can deliver to P.O. boxes, military bases, and some other locations.
So that means if there's no more SurePost, there's no more UPS to those places at all.
Exactly. No more UPS deliveries to those spots. And that's where it gets kind of tricky, right?
Yeah, that's a huge deal. I mean, think about it. Imagine you're running a small business. And you're, like in rural Vermont, you're relying on supplies, and they're all shipped to your P.O. box.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do?
Well, exactly. And that's what happened to this woman, Pam Loeb. We were reading about her, right?
Yeah, Pam Loeb, yeah.
She's got a small business up in Vermont, relies on those UPS shipments to her P.O. box. Now what?
And she basically said she felt blindsided, right? Like,
yeah. A lot of people, it seems like, they felt blindsided by this change. And even though USPS says they were transparent, like, the contract's ending, it doesn't really seem like the impact on people and businesses was, really, really considered.
No, because it's not just an inconvenience, right? We're talking about, for some businesses, this is a major disruption.
Absolutely. It could even change the way we shop online altogether, If you can't get things delivered to your P.O. box, well, what are you going to do?
Right, exactly. So, what are people supposed to do then? I know the article mentioned a couple of things.
Yeah, so if you don't have a street address, UPS is saying, hey, use our store mailboxes.
There's store mailboxes. But, how is that actually helpful? Like, is that convenient?
Well, that's a good question, right? Is it convenient? Is it affordable? Like, what if you don't have a UPS store nearby?
Right.
What if you have a disability and it's difficult to get there? What if you don't have reliable transportation?
Right, exactly. And that
it's starting to feel like just a Band-Aid, right, on a much bigger problem.
Yeah. And, are there other solutions out there? Like, are people talking about other options?
Well, that's what I'm curious about, right? Are local pickup points going to become more popular? What about crowdsourced delivery?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe even like new technologies that make that last mile delivery more efficient, for everyone.
Right. This whole thing, it just makes you realize how much we all depend on these systems without really, ever thinking about them,
Exactly. We just assume it'll work. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then when something like this happens, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually really complex.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what other vulnerabilities are we overlooking?
Right, exactly. And it makes you think, as e-commerce keeps growing, what other last mile challenges are we going to run into?
Yeah, good question. And I think that's really the big takeaway here.
Yeah.
This whole situation, it shows us how complex these systems we rely on really are. And it's like a little glimpse into the future, right? It shows us that as e-commerce keeps changing, that last mile is only going to get more important and more challenging. So what new solutions are we going to see? What creative ideas are people going to come up with? That's something I'm really interested to see.
Yeah, that's a great question to leave everyone with. That's what we're all thinking about now. So, all right, well, that's it for this deep dive. Join us next time. We've got another fascinating topic to explore. So we'll see you then. All right, take care.